Welcome aboard to our new series, Average Rail Adventures. Today, we are going to be looking at Amtrak as a whole, from the food to the accommodations. We will be taking 2 long-distance trains, riding along in both a single-level Viewliner and a bi-level superliner. We will experience and showcase the difference between these two and show you what to expect from your journey on Amtrak. So climb aboard, and let's get this adventure started. On our first leg of the journey, we are leaving out of New York Penn Station. That will put us on a Viewliner sleeper. The Viewliners typically run on all East Coast long-distance routes, with the auto train being the exception. We are booked into a roomette today, one of the most popular sleeping accommodations on Amtrak. Let's take a closer look at what that gets you. Here we are at room number 1. This will be our home for the next 28 hours. A Viewliner roomette has everything you need for a comfortable journey, but it's not what many would call spacious. There are 4 total outlets in the Viewliner roomette, but we recommend bringing a power strip just in case, or if you have a lot of electronics you need to charge. There is a sink located just next to the seat on one side, with the other 2 room outlets just next to it. Operating the sink is fairly easy, just unlatch it and allow it to fold down. The water pressure and temperature were perfectly adequate. Although we did not use the sink much, it was still nice to have in our room. To drain it, just fold it back up. There are many lighting controls in your cabin, such as the mirror light. These are the controls for your main room light and a small blue night light. These controls are in multiple places, making them easy to access for both guests in either daytime or sleeping configurations. There's also a room thermostat provided. It worked most of the time and kept it a comfortable 68 to 70 degrees in the room. You can also see the many attendant call buttons in case you need assistance. Above each seat is an area light as well as a reading light. Storage is always a concern, but in a Viewliner, there's plenty of it. Above the door over the hallway, there's some extra storage that can fit carry-on size bags perfectly, with room to spare. Under the steps to the upper bunk is also space, and you can fit bags under the seats as well. Now, a Viewliner bedroom is a little more spacious. You have a large couch that can sit 2 comfortably, even 3 if needed, with a fold-down bunk above, and another seat in the corner, with the fold-out table in front of it. The biggest difference is the private toilet and shower located in your room. Here you can see it's what's called a wet bath, where the toilet and shower spaces are combined. Hanging on the wall is the ladder to get to the top bunk while in the sleeping configuration. This is a Viewliner 2 sleeper, meaning there is no toilet in the roomette. If this were a Viewliner 1, it would be located in the same area where the sink was. This sleeper has 2 restrooms located at the rear of the car along with a shower. Pay attention to the lights next to the door and always knock, just in case someone forgets to lock it. This restroom has everything you need, however if anything is missing, please let your car attendant know. Once you lock the door, a small light will illuminate, letting you know that the door is locked. Keep in mind, the light might not always work, even if the door is locked. With the toilet in the corner, it makes it rather roomy, even if you are a larger person. Water pressure and temperature were again adequate, and just push down and let the water flow. It'll shut off by itself. Always make sure to hold on to something, you never know when you may hit rough track. There is also a changing table in the restrooms, as shown here. Now before we take a look across the hall at the shower, here's another Average Rail Adventures tip. If no one else is occupying it, fresh air break stops are the perfect time to take a shower, especially if you do not have great balance or train feet. Sometimes these cars can really get rockin' and rollin', and it can be hard to stand. The shower here is also stocked with soap and towels. It might not always have shampoo, so make sure to bring some with you. There are also attendant call buttons in the shower in case you need any assistance or toiletries. Well, I don't know about you, but it's been a busy morning, so I think it's time to sit back and watch the views roll by. But before we know it, it's breakfast time. Meals on Amtrak might be a little bit different than what you're used to at home, and it varies by route. There's a few things you need to know: coach versus sleeper, traditional versus flexible, diner versus cafe, and breakfast versus all other meals. All meals are included and guaranteed for sleeper passengers. Coach passengers are not guaranteed meals, and they are an additional cost. The snacks, however, are available for all at an additional cost. Breakfast is typically first come first served with open seating, whereas lunch and dinner are reserved with time slots. Your car attendant will always let you know, so listen to the announcements. Today we have a cafe car and flexible dining. Flexible dining means that your meals are packaged and microwaved. You can either eat in the cafe car or have your meals delivered to your room. But be warned, there's not a lot of space in your room, so the cafe car is the way to go. For breakfast, I went with the 3-cheese omelet, while my wife went with the bourbon apple crepes. I would give both a 6 out of 10. Not amazing, but not bad. Soft drinks are also included with all meals at no charge. Once breakfast is over, we get to experience what Amtrak is all about, taking our time and enjoying the landscape pass us by as we sit and relax. Let's take a look at a typical layout of an Amtrak Viewliner. This diagram is from a Viewliner 1, but the layout is very similar to the Viewliner 2 that we are on today. The biggest difference being there are 2 bathrooms at the rear of the coach, no toilet in the roomettes, and the coffee station has moved next to room 1 in the center of the car. Coffee is available for all sleeper passengers, typically starting at 6 a.m. and is self-serve. Some floor plans will vary slightly from this, but it gives you an idea of your space. We will see the same diagram for the superliners in a little bit. As you can see, roomettes are the most popular accommodation, with only 2 bedrooms per car and 1 accessible bedroom for those with limited mobility. Unfortunately, this room was occupied on both cars, so I was unable to get any footage of that room. Here we are passing through Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, and there is no traffic jams, no worrying about directions or what exit to take, just smooth rails as we let the Amtrak crew do all the work. It really is the best way to travel if you have the time. This is where you will expect to spend most of your day, in your room, watching the changing scenery, reading a book, taking a nap, whatever it is you want to do, you can do it on Amtrak. During non-meal times, you are allowed to sit in the cafe car where there's a little more room, and you can chat and hang out with other passengers if you'd like. It's a communal area that's great for making new friends. This is one of the best places to be and something you just cannot do on an airplane. Soon the scenery changes, and that means it's lunchtime. Lunch is started with a side salad and a roll. In an effort to try everything on the menu, I went with the beef paprikash, while the wife had the butter chicken. We decided to eat in our room for this meal, and while it is doable, it's very tight with 2 people. Again, both meals were good, another 6 out of 10. Dessert, on the other hand, was amazing. These change depending on the route and time of year, so make sure to ask your car attendant what's available. We had a double chocolate brownie and a butter cake. We cut them in half so we could both share them. Both were rich and sweet, but not too sweet. 10 out of 10 in my opinion, and the highlight of the meal. We settle back down after lunch and watch the views pass and the sun set. The great thing about Amtrak, there is no rush. Dinner options are the same as lunch, with the only difference being 1 alcoholic drink is included for each adult over the age of 21. Sadly, they were out of the chicken fettuccine alfredo, so I went with the butter chicken, while the wife went with the Asian barbecue glazed salmon. Both came with a salad, a roll, and dessert again. Both meals were a solid 6 out of 10. It speaks to the consistency for sure. Now that it's bedtime, let's look at how the roomette has changed. To have your room converted, simply let your car attendant know and they will come and set it all up for you. The upper bunk slides down, while the lower bunk is made from the 2 chairs sliding into each other. Both are comfy, yet firm, so we recommend bringing your own pillow if you can, as well as earplugs to help with any noise. Many things rattle and creak in these cars, especially in the superliners. We also recommend a small battery-powered fan if you need airflow. While the Viewliners had great airflow through the HVAC, the same could not be said for the superliners, and I found we were overheating fairly easily. An eye mask is also a great idea to bring, as the hall lights stay on in the sleepers, and sometimes the curtains do not always block all the light out, so if you're sensitive to light, it'll be a handy item to have. Now it's time to look at the superliners. Just about everything we previously went over applies, but let's look at the difference between these sleepers. The first thing you will notice is the room is a little bit smaller than a Viewliner. The seats are nicely and recently reupholstered with the new Amtrak long distance upholstery, and there is one window instead of two. There is a spot to hang a coat or a bag just like in the Viewliner, but the stairs to the upper bunk are much thinner and do not allow for storage of a bag. You can store your bags under the seats, as there is plenty of room though. The upper bunk folds down instead of sliding down, and there's slightly less headroom in these cars, as both levels have rooms and roomettes. It's only a few inches, but it does make a big difference. If you are 6 foot or taller, it'll be very tight. Lighting is decent, although not as good as Viewliner. You have reading lights above each seat, and your main room light only. These armrests are much smaller, and there is only a single outlet for the entire room. There is a small closet for coats or hanging items, but you won't be able to fit much. Looking at a superliner bedroom, you can see there is a lot more room. Much like the roomette, the bed folds down from the ceiling. Headroom isn't amazing, but there's still enough to get in and out. Much like the Viewliner bedroom, you get a couch, a single seat with storage above it, and a shower-bathroom combo. You do still only get one outlet, so remember your power strip. One quirk is that one of the bedrooms had to sacrifice a little space for the passageway, so if you're in room A, just know it's a little tight to get into your bathroom. As we leave Chicago, let's look at the floor plan on a typical superliner sleeper car. You can see bedroom A on the top left has to give a little room for the walkway, as we just saw. Roomettes still dominate the floor plan, but there are more bedrooms in these cars than the Viewliners. There's one communal bathroom upstairs with 2 more downstairs. The coffee station is also located next to roomette 2 on the upper level. Coffee is available for all sleeper passengers, typically starting at 6 a.m. and is self-serve. Speaking of downstairs, this is where you will get on and off the car, find some extra luggage storage, the shower, 4 more roomettes, as well as the large family bedroom and accessible bedroom. We're on another sold-out train, so unfortunately I was not able to get footage of these 2 rooms. But let's take a look downstairs on this car and explore the rest of the train. As you walk into the car, you have your luggage storage and water fill station just across from there. These stairs lead you to the upper level where you can access all the other cars, and this is where most things are located. These stairs are very narrow and steep, something to keep in mind if you have limited mobility. The luggage storage is nice if you don't wish to check your luggage, or if you have an extra bag you might not need all the time but still want access to. Keep in mind it is first come first serve, so you are not guaranteed to have space for your things. This side is where the other 4 roomettes are, as well as the family bedroom. Heading to the other side, let's look at the bathrooms and the shower. This restroom has everything you need, however if anything is missing, please let your car attendant know. Once you lock the door, a small light will illuminate, letting you know that the door is locked. With the toilet in the corner, it makes it rather roomy, even if you are a larger person. Water pressure and temperature were adequate, just push down and the water will flow and shut off by itself. The shower here is stocked with soap and towels. It might not always have shampoo, so make sure to bring some with you. There are also attendant call buttons in the shower in case you need assistance or toiletries. You are also provided an outlet so you can blow dry your hair or whatever else you might need it for. Keep in mind it is a communal space that you do share with other passengers, so please be mindful of your time and clean up after yourself. Now let's head back upstairs. If you're enjoying this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. Hitting that bell really helps out the channel, and it's absolutely free. Now that we've explored the sleeper, let's talk about my favorite car on this entire train. The Sightseer Lounge. This car on Superliner trains has lounge seating as well as table seating for you and any friends you make along the way. It has big floor-to-ceiling windows and even windows above you for when you get into the canyons. It's the best place to watch America roll by while you get to your destination carefree. It's also where you will find the cafe and snacks. Right downstairs, it's kept well stocked with items available for purchase throughout the trip. Just listen for announcements on when it opens and closes, as it is not 24-hour. Here was a look at what was available on our trip. Keep in mind, selection may vary depending on route. In my opinion, the best way to get into the groove of things is to head down to the snack car and get yourself a small bottle of wine to share, or keep for yourself as you watch America roll by. It truly is an experience like no other. While the Sightseer car is one of my favorites, it's not always easy to find a seat. It is open to everyone, regardless of whether you are a sleeper or coach passenger, and seating is first come, first serve. Remember earlier when I said there were two different menus, traditional versus flexible? On this train, we have a proper dining car and traditional dining. That means our meals are cooked in a real kitchen. Much like on the Viewliner, breakfast is first come, first serve, but lunch and dinner are reserved with timed seating. Make sure to talk to your car attendant to get a reservation. As before, all meals are included with your sleeper ticket and are available for coach passengers at an extra fee on a first come, first served basis, but are not guaranteed. Let's take a look at what's for dinner tonight. Dinner is a 3-course meal and includes 1 alcoholic drink at no charge. For appetizers, I went with the mixed green salad with brie, while my wife got the pearl tempura shrimp. Both were excellent. A solid 7 out of 10 for both. For the main course, I got the Amtrak signature flat iron steak cooked medium. There's nothing like a tender, well-prepared steak while traveling by train. The wife opted for the Atlantic salmon, and it was perfectly cooked, with both obtaining a 10 out of 10. Traditional dining is far better than letting Chef Mike do all the work. Of course, for dessert, we both split with each other, sharing the cheesecake and chocolate spoon cake. Both incredible again, and a 10 out of 10. After our car attendant set up our beds, we decided it was time to lay down. You can see just how much less room you have in a Superliner versus the Viewliner, with the power strip having to lay by my feet on the bed. The upper bunk has just as much space as the lower, and both are fairly comfortable. Again, we recommend bringing your own pillow if you can, as well as an eye mask and earplugs to help with any light and noise. These cars can be a little noisy, and quiet hours are from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. Outside of that, there may be announcements. Door locks in the Superliners are a bit different as well, with a fold-over latch design. These cannot be opened from the outside, so if you have a roommate, make sure they know not to lock you out of the room. After a decent night's sleep, let's go back to the dining car and get some breakfast. Getting between cars is easy. Simply use your hand, or foot, to push the black button and the doors will slide open. This is the same for Superliners as well as Viewliners. Moving through the dining car, you can see just how many people it can fit. Something to keep in mind, depending on how many people are on your train, chances are you will be sharing your table with another party. It's a great way to meet new people and make friends along the way. Always watch your step when moving between cars. The floor will move between them as the train is moving. I went for the Amtrak signature French toast while she decided on the breakfast quesadilla. Both were excellent, scoring a 9 out of 10. Sadly, our stop was coming soon, so we were not able to try the lunch options this time. Having had them on a different trip, however, I can tell you they are still amazing no matter what meal you get with traditional dining. As we neared Denver, we gathered our things, thanked our car attendant, and prepared to make our way home. We had some time to reflect on this trip and add a few more tips, tricks, and advice just for you, the viewers of Average Rail Adventures. Every train will be different, even on the same route. Sometimes cars are added, sometimes taken away, sometimes bathrooms will stop working on an entire car. Sadly, that last one was all too much of a reality for us this time around. Make sure to talk to your car attendant. Ask them where things are in the train, where the bathrooms are, the dining car, the cafe, the lounge, where the coffee station will be that morning. I know sometimes that can be the most important question. Take a look at the schedule. Note when and where your fresh air stops will be, and I always recommend trying to get off the train as much as possible during these stops. You don't move a whole lot, so every step you take absolutely counts. Schedules can be found on Amtrak's website. Bring snacks, drinks, or anything else you might want. There's no liquid limit on Amtrak like there is through TSA, so if you want to bring a bottle of something to enjoy, you absolutely can. Just make sure not to carry it around the train. Motion sickness can be a very real problem, so if it affects you, make sure to bring something to combat it. The train will rock side to side and front to back. It's not always a perfectly smooth ride. Plan for some extra time. Amtrak runs on rails that it does not own for a majority of its long-distance routes. Sometimes there's freight traffic that can get in the way and slow you down, and it's not uncommon to be a few hours late. While they do everything they can to ensure they stay on time, things happen, especially in the winter months. But with this information, now you can travel like an Amtrak pro. If you have any questions, please make sure to leave them down in the comments below. I really hope you enjoy this video outlining the difference between the Superliner and the Viewliner sleepers. Again, if you liked it, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And until next time, I'll see you on the rails.